Hello, dear friend. If you're in a weary season of life, if it feels like your prayers go unanswered, if every door in front of you seems to be closing, don't be too quick to believe that God has forgotten you, because sometimes silence is the way He prepares us for something far greater. Today, I want to share with you the story of Adam, a man who thought he had lost everything, only to discover that even in the deepest wilderness, God was still making a way. This is more than just a story. It's a quiet reminder that the dawn always follows the longest night, and you are not alone in your journey. Adam sat quietly in the corner of his room, the soft yellow light from the old desk lamp casting long shadows across his tired face. On the table lay a stack of unsent job applications, a worn-out Bible, and a cup of coffee gone cold. Week 3 of unemployment, month 6 of doubt, and perhaps year 10 since he last felt heard by God. Once, Adam had everything: a stable job in finance, his dream position since college, friends who admired him, a family who was proud. But it all came crashing down in what felt like a senseless series of events. He was laid off during a round of downsizing. His longtime girlfriend walked out after a bitter argument. A close friend betrayed him. And most painful of all, he felt like God had gone silent. Adam no longer saw a reason to get up in the morning. He had once prayed regularly, but now those prayers felt like echoes in a desert. Where was God when everything fell apart? One night, Adam received a message from the last friend he still kept in touch with. "I moved to another state, Adam. I didn't tell you earlier because I didn't know how. I just need a fresh start." The short message felt like the final blow, severing the last tie to his former world. Adam set his phone down, burying his face in his hands. He had tried to hold on to the people around him, even just a few, to feel less alone. But it seemed that every relationship had quietly slipped away, one by one. That night, unable to bear the loneliness, Adam opened his Bible, not out of faith, but desperation. It fell open to James 1 verses 2 to 3. "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance." He read it again and again. Then he chuckled, not from joy, but from the absurdity of it. How could anyone rejoice in the midst of pain? But still, he couldn't deny it. He was growing more patient, less angry, often silent, sometimes just breathing. Maybe what he thought was loss was actually preparation. One early morning in March, Adam woke earlier than usual, not for an appointment, but because of a strange pull inside. It wasn't worry, it wasn't motivation, just a deep stirring in his soul, as if something within him was trying to speak before his mind could understand. He began taking long walks each morning. No music, no phone, just the sound of birds, wind, and his footsteps on the dewy pavement. In those moments, he felt God, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet presence that felt real. One morning, sitting on a park bench, his Bible slipped from his coat pocket. He opened it absent-mindedly. The page stopped at Isaiah 43 verse 19. "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness." Adam closed his eyes, and in that moment he felt something undeniable. God hadn't forgotten him, even as everything seemed to fall apart. Something new was quietly being born. The next week, Adam received an email from a nonprofit he had volunteered at 3 years prior. "We're looking for someone to manage our community development program. Your name came to mind because of the heart and resilience you showed. Are you interested in interviewing?" Adam stared at the screen in disbelief. It wasn't a job he had pursued. The pay was less than what he used to earn. The title wasn't impressive, but his heart pounded strangely as he read the email. He didn't need long to decide. During the interview, the program director looked at him warmly. "I don't just see skills in your resume. I see someone who's lived through hard things. We don't need the best on paper. We need someone who's been broken and still believes in something good." Adam was hired. On his first day, he didn't bring a portfolio or a list of strategies. He brought a fragile, new kind of faith, the belief that God was opening a door he never imagined. At the community center, Adam met people who had lost just like he had. Some had struggled with addiction, homelessness, or family rejection. And yet here, they were all healing, slowly and perfectly, but genuinely. One young woman named Leah shared during a small group session, "I used to think God's silence meant he was mad at me, but now I know he was waiting for me to stop fighting so he could start healing." Her words pierced Adam's heart. He thought about his own pride, his anger in success, and his bitterness in failure. Maybe God's silence wasn't absence. It was an invitation. 3 months later, the center launched a new project teaching financial literacy to the homeless. Adam was asked to lead. As he taught budgeting, saving, and basic investing, a realization struck him. Nothing he'd been through was wasted. His finance background, the job loss, the betrayal. Every scar now became a balm for someone else's wounds. One evening, after locking up the office, Adam sat alone in the fading light. Golden rays stretched across the room. He whispered, "Thank you, God, for not giving me what I wanted, so you could give me what I truly needed." 1 year after his life fell apart, Adam walked through his old neighborhood. He passed places that once held painful memories. The cafe where his girlfriend left, the park where his friend disappeared, the office building where he was laid off. But now, there was no bitterness. Each place had become a marker of transformation. He wasn't wealthier, not more famous, but his heart was finally at peace. At a year-end group gathering, Adam was invited to share his story. He stood before faces that had once been full of pain, but now shone with hope. He said, "I once thought God abandoned me, but he was just clearing a path through my wilderness. I lost everything, only to discover the most important thing, a faith refined not through answers, but through waiting. And sometimes, the greatest blessing isn't what you receive, but the person you become in the process." If you're going through trials, isolation, spiritual restlessness, or seeing doors close, don't give up hope. Maybe, just maybe, God is preparing something far greater than you ever imagined. He hasn't forgotten you. He's clearing the way, a new road, a new season. Like Adam, you're being led. The dawn always comes after the longest night, and what feels like the end could very well be your beginning.